All right, in this video, I want to share 3 proven ways that you can optimize your car ride home and engage in self-reflection. So this is for parents, but also for athletes. Because as parents know, and all athletes, it's important for you to know that engaging in detailed and accurate reflection helps you learn and grow. And so many players are missing out on this opportunity because they say things like, I don't know, it was good, and they don't want to engage in reflection, especially if they have a tough day or they had a challenging day and there's lots of things they could learn from. And that's when it's most important to engage in a detailed reflection. So here's the 3 things you can start doing. The first thing for parents and athletes to be aware of is like it's not negotiable. You have to engage. If you want to become an elite athlete, it's not an option to just be like, I don't know, I don't want to try and reflect. It's really important that you reflect because this is how we become more self-aware. This is how we can grow and self-correct in future practices and training and games and competitions. So in order to first get this level of self-awareness, you have to try. Just guess. Like if you say things like, I don't know, I don't care, guess, try anyways. And this starts to start the reflection process because your opinion of your own performance and your training has to matter most. So first you have to be engaged and start. Second though thing to make sure we're doing is being accurate. So many athletes are too hard on themselves, which is all kinds of problems with. It can help because it's going to push you to learn and grow. And then some athletes are on the other end too easy, which is often also very problematic, and we're not learning from the things we can work on. So what we want you to do is be accurate. Say in a game as an example, you did 10 things well and 3 things you could work on you struggled with, own all of it. Don't just focus over here and don't just focus over here and downplay the other side. Own all the things that you did well, and that's going to help you accurately reflect and learn and grow. And so parents' role in all of this is to make sure their kids are being accurate. Encourage them to be, are you being too hard or are you being too easy? And you probe and you probe. And sometimes they're going to be too hard or too easy. And so a parent's role then can just be to help them regulate and be like, I think you're being too hard. What about this? What about this? And they have to learn to A, reflect, and then B, in the second part here, be accurate in those reflections. So those are the first 2. Third big one though that can get really tough is being detailed. And so you might be detailed, but maybe it's not accurate. So you want to have both here, but lots of detail, examples. We learn by positive reinforcing what we do well, and we learn from critically reflecting on what we could do differently and do better. And this helps athletes own their performances and helps them, again, as you become more self-aware, retain it for future sessions. So again, those are the 3 big keys, and there's huge benefits here when you self-reflect. This is one of the main exercises we guide and help athletes work through, and parents, so that they understand, the athletes can then understand who they are and what they want to work on, and it helps them have an accurate mindset because they're reflecting in a healthy way. They're taking ownership of their performance and their training and their improvement in an accurate way, and not too hard or not too easy. And then it also, so that improves your overall mindset actually, and it puts you in a self-motivated state where you're learning and growing. But also too, it actually literally helps you become a better athlete because you're engaging in effective and accurate and detailed reflection. So very simple kind of things, not always easy to do, but to me this is non-negotiable to be an elite athlete. You have to engage in a discussion. Now, when you do these discussions is always up for can be something you decide on. It could be right after in the car ride home, very common. Maybe it's later. Maybe it's later that night when you get home and things settle, cool off, or it's the next morning. As an athlete gets older, they don't have to reflect with parents, right? So you don't have to optimize this reflection process, but they have to then reflect on their own or with their coach, or we use a lot of notebooks or online formats so that it's actually written and you can actually look back and see the reflections. And then the last thing that I'll include here when we talk about being detailed, I'll double down on this one, is about what questions you ask, because the questions are key. And so we, with the athletes we work on, we make sure there's some questions about their mindset, like what was your arousal level? Did you use your reset routine? Did you do your best to manage your emotions, or play fearlessly or confidently, or trust yourself versus overthink, etc. And so we kind of tailor questions based on our mindset, but also specific things that athletes working on. You can also frame questions on things like what did you do well today, and give examples, and why was this a good training today or practice, and get them to elaborate. The questions we ask are going to reflect on our learning and growing. So, coming up with that in advance can also make the whole reflection process go a lot more smoothly. But again, as they get older, it doesn't have to be parents involved. But I always encourage it to a degree. Once you're like 15, 16, parents are pretty often not involved, but some are. Like I know some 18-year-olds, they're playing junior hockey, and they still want to reflect with their parents. And it's just in a healthy way, the player's taking ownership and they're just having someone bounce it off of. And sometimes the one, verbalizing and bouncing off someone's helpful, but two, sometimes you get a little bit of that extra little feedback is definitely helpful. So the goal here, to summarize all of this, the ideal state an athlete's truly reflecting, especially if it's going to be with a parent, is they get in the car, how'd the day go? Here's what I did well. Bam, bam, bam. Examples. Here's what I could work on. Here's this. This is what I thought. And a lot of detailed, long answers, somewhere like 3 to 5 minutes, breaking down your practice or your game and competition. And the parents are left with, well, nice reflection. I don't have much to add to that. And that's when you're at a point where you're really mastering the reflection process, the car ride home, and the athlete is going to optimize their mentality, but also their performance and their growth as an athlete. All right, love to hear your questions, and reach out if you are interested in any of our programs.